Hello, I'm Carol Ramoran. Welcome to Talk Thursday. What does it take for young emerging talent to go global? In the studio with us is top global agent Jed Root and at East Managing Director Mauricio. Jed Root is the founder of artist management agency Jed Root Incorporated, which has offices in New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, London, and Paris. Root now sets his sights on the Philippines with his launch of the new Manila office called At East. Root and Mauricio will tell us about the process of finding, retaining, and growing top talent, particularly in the Philippines and Asia. Good afternoon, Jed. Good afternoon, Al.
Good afternoon. How are you?
How have you been?
Great, thank you.
How have you found the Philippines so far?
Great, I love it here. This is my third time here so far. So,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump right in. So people have said that you champion those who work behind the scenes, and after spending so many years working behind the scenes, you've done assisting in shoots, you've done freelance work. What are some of the most valuable lessons that you've picked up doing these years?
Well, I think the biggest thing is besides someone's level of talent and understanding of the business and understanding of the trends, there's certain personality traits that are really important for someone to be successful in this business. Fashion photography, commercial photography, all this kind of stuff. It's a collaborative form, you know. It takes a photographer, a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a stylist, a model, a creative director, and all these people have to be able to really collaborate in the right way to make the final product together, as opposed to, say, something like fine art, where it's one person going out and doing their thing and then presenting it to the world.
But what are the things that happen behind the scenes? I know, Al, you're also a makeup artist, aside from being a strategist and a marketer, but you two, you've seen how these things work. I mean, for us, we just see the photos, we just see the videos, like the product. But to get there, what are the things that happen?
I was a assistant stylist for a very short time, and I was did a assistant hairstylist for a few times. And what I learned from that is that's not what I want to do. That's not where my talents lay. It's a long-term build. It takes a long time building your career in that sort of behind-the-scenes way. You know, starting out assisting, staying on top of the trends, like I said, and making your connections and your relationships and learning how to work together with people, and also creatively contribute to the.
And actually, in addition to that, on set, so you have all those preparations before getting a job, and then when you get the job on set, you also have a lot of preparations to do. Like what you said earlier, you collaborate with different creative people, you have pre-production meetings, you get on set and you have either models or celebrities, you have assistants, you have stylists, you have hair and makeup artists, you have a big production to produce one image. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes and just one photo. And then getting to that's where he was saying that there's a lot of developing your aesthetic, developing your career, getting your network going before you even get to the set.
With that said, what's your process? Do you find these talents or do your talents find you? And like, how do you choose them?
It's a combination, a lot of people, now that I'm quite well known, people come to me and seek me out often. But where I find them, it could be as simple as something on Facebook, or perhaps one of our stylists has worked with a newer photographer, on and on. So it's often recommendations. People just call up. That's it. The criteria for choosing them, it's as far as in their work, that's really hard to put into words. It's just you see something that you feel can grow in the right direction to really contribute to this business, that they've really got something and an understanding. And then, like I said before, there's a whole group of personality traits that are very, very important to have as well.
And for Manila, we curated a group of people that we thought would be interested and would like to be part of an international global agency, because Jed, before coming here, didn't really know the talents that we had here. So our group, our partners, we were able to curate them for him because he wanted to see them in person with their portfolios. So we saw a whole lot of people before he selected the 21 that we're representing right now.
So how involved were you in the selection process here in Manila? So was it just Al?
Very.
He was the only one. I mean, I was there in every single portfolio review, and I did me and our team, we did all of the schedules and all that. But then every single one of them, Jed reviewed the portfolio. It's about 30 minutes to an hour per person. So yeah, he was the only one who selected them.
So it's not only seeing their work, it's, you know, chatting with them, getting to know them, getting to know what their aspirations are, and, you know, what their personality is like, and things like that. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, during your years as an agent, what were the 3 critical things that you learned about finding, retaining, and even growing talent?
3 things about that. Finding talent, I mean, that's hard to quantify again, you know. It's, I see it there in their work, you know. I mean, a focus in someone's work is very important as opposed to someone who's going too broadly in too many directions. The personality traits, again, someone who's able to collaborate, someone who's people are going to want to spend all day on set with as well, you know, because it's very competitive out there. You know, there's a lot of people competing for those slots to be on that shoot every day. So, and there's a lot of them are very talented as well, but they've got to have the right personality to be there, whether it's with a celebrity. You know, sometimes for a makeup artist, especially if they're working with a celebrity, it's not only the quality of the makeup, which is also very important, but someone who can, you know, help someone to feel that they feel beautiful for the day on set as well. Managing them in the long term, it's about finding, you know, making sure we keep it close, collaborative. They don't work for me, I don't really work for them. It's really a collaboration between us, you know, in growing their career. I want to hear from them what they want to do. I'm going to give them their pointers, but I want to hear their feedback too. And we grow together and figure out the right way to go about things. And what are the best next steps?
All right. But how do you choose which jobs should your talents pick up, or like which jobs should they say yes to?
Well, it's a host of factors. It's like how much money is it is a big thing. But when in terms of growing things, just is it right for them? Can they grow from that? What kind of exposure are they going to get from it? You know, things like that.
What has been the biggest challenge that you experienced as you went global?
I can't say any one. Well, having to fly all around the world all the time. I learned to do without sleep. But I don't know. I can't say there's any one thing in particular. I've been either I'm very good at it, or I've just been very lucky to surround myself and in all my companies with fantastic employees who I can really, really rely on. Sorry. That's right. I mean, it's always a challenge moving into a new market, you know, because you have to learn about the culture. You have to be there. You can't. A lot of things you can do remotely, but you can't really understand a market and a culture unless you're there and in it. You know, people on the street. Yeah.
Okay. So, what can we expect from At East? Do you two have a vision not only for the individual artist but also for the scene in Manila?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of talent here, and that's something I was very, very impressed with from the beginning. What the business is kind of lacking is good business practices, structure, you know, things like that. That's probably our first goal, is to kind of but educate the business, you know, in general, how things can run, you know, much more smoothly and much more professionally, and make everyone's life easier, both on the artist side as well as on the client side as well. Yeah.
And we were just talking about this last night about we produce really great images and great creatives in the way that we work currently. What more if we could elevate those standards and be more organized and put more structure in it? Like you said, we could rule the world if we we were just putting those practices that everywhere else around the world are using. So that's a great first step for us.
Can you cite one particular practice that we're lacking? Like, you want to streamline?
Well, in the business, I mean, a lot of people just use SMS. You know, back and forth. The billing sort of procedures are not really there in place. I mean, just call sheets. You know, a lot of the artists show up on set They don't know, the hairstylist doesn't know who the makeup artist is going to be. They don't know until they arrive there that day and, meet everyone. It's just like, okay, be here at this time, They don't get a chance to think about and plan and, plan for what they would need to do that day and be creative.
Okay. Do you see that this has happened in the States while you were working there? And then when you went back to the Philippines, you start feeling like, you know what, if only we had what we were doing in the States here, aside from what Jed said.
I want to say maybe meritocracy, where everything in the States is equal opportunity. If you had the resume for it, if you had the great work for it, you could get a job, or you could at least get an appointment for an interview. I think when I first went home, I've never really worked here, and if you didn't have anyone endorsing you or saying, oh yeah, she's good, or yeah, she's from this family, or she's from this whatever, you won't really get the same opportunity. And I feel that that's changing right now, which is great. But the more that we value actual merit, and we value the work, and not about the relationships around it, and I mean that's important, but I think what's more important is the work that you put in and the results that you could give, more than who you know or where you came from.
How can you compare Manila to the other places where you've set up shop? Is there like a common vibe between Manila and these other cities?
One of the things that really attracted me to Manila is it's sort of a melting pot here in Asia. It's both Asian and it's got Asian influences and Western influences, which make it really kind of perfect for me as a as a good hub here in Asia, both to support Asian artists, possibly to work in other markets, and as an entry point for some of the artists, say from Europe and the States, to work in this market as well. Yeah, that's the most unique thing about it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed anything similar on, let's say, Manila and New York, Manila and LA?
They're all very different, but it's very competitive everywhere, I think. There's so many artists and creative people here, the same way that there's so many in New York, and there's so many in LA, and there's so many in Paris. But we're really grateful and very excited that with Jed, because he is in this industry, he's been doing this for a long time, and this is really his talent. It's picking out those artists and those talents and those markets, and helping grow their careers and further develop them. So it's just a lot of people in the industry, and it's good and a bad thing, I guess.
How do you see the local talent of Filipinos?
There is, an innate creativity here. Somehow, I'm not that familiar enough with Filipino culture to understand why, but there's an innate sense of creativity, I think, here that's supported and respected more than a lot of other cultures.
And what I appreciate about something he told me before was, for our talents here to produce images and creativity, and not being from a very creative environment, not like 100 years of art history, or like in Paris or in London or in New York, and yet we could create something really creative. Can you imagine if you could bring those people in places that are really bursting in creative energy, what kind of work we could actually do?
Signed already they're already industry icons here in the Philippines, like Mark Nicdao and Pam Quiñones. What's your vision for these people to expand their reach and grow their skill? They've already been there. They've already done these things with major clients. How can you let them reach further in the industry?
Well, the first step is regionally. I mean, I think they have worked regionally a bit and a little bit, but they don't have the name. They don't have the big success outside of here. It's about helping them to curate their own work. Because I find that in so many of the places I go, when it's, say, a smaller market, such as the Philippines, that the success, in order to be successful, you have to sort of, you have to be able to do a lot of different things. Whereas on a bigger international scale, you can focus, you can be a specialist, and you can really, really, have your own voice shine through there and have a bigger impact in that way. So that's one of the main things I want to help them do, broaden their work geographically, but perhaps narrow it a bit. So it's really about their own specific point of view.
You're also known for being somebody who helps people who are new in the industry to get there, to basically well, not just their big break, but to help them in those small steps to get where
Exactly.
they want to go.
It's actually for the ones who are just starting out, it's almost easier
Really?
in a way. Because you can keep them from becoming a generalist too much, you know. You can, because we now have the possibility to, they don't have to work just in the Philippines. They can work regionally. And we can go out and find projects that suit their specific aesthetic and point of view from the beginning, you know. So to grow them that way.
And I think what Jed was saying is locally, it's about finding all kinds of works versus finding the work that you'd like to do, and that your point of view is really that matches that particular project.
So in a way, your agency will give more freedom to your talents, and like just selling them to their clients, saying, "Hey, this is what we can do, and if this works for you, you can hire us."
Exactly.
So, time and time again, you must have seen many aspirants try and either fail or succeed in the industry. What do you think is the difference between those who have made it and those who have chosen to move on?
I think the ones who have not made it, more often than not, it's a personality sort of thing, you know, that they don't fit in the business, or they get frustrated with their place in the business. They don't want to take the steps it takes to get to where they want to be. They want to, you know, jump straight over and be there. Or, you know, their personality is just not suited to it. I'm sure there's people whose level of talent and taste are not there, but I haven't worked with those people. You know.
What's the personality? What's this personality? Is there like a formula for a person to succeed in this industry?
I don't know. It's hard to really quantify someone's personality in a way. It's about the right balance between having your point of view and being able to explain your point of view, and also being open to other people's point of view, and being flexible and collaborative. You know.
Yeah,
That's probably the biggest thing, but I'm sure there's other factors as well.
Like being open to
Yeah.
also opportunities, and like what he said earlier on, eventually if you're doing it the right way with all your passion and with great imagery, then money will follow. But if it's all about the money, then it's going to be very difficult to just
Yeah.
Okay. So, for many, the passion for art is there, but there's sometimes a kind of disbelief that one can really profit from their passions, believing that this type of destiny is for like only a select few. Could you weigh in on the issue of passion versus practicality?
Well, it is only for a select few, to be honest. You know, there's a lot of people out there that would like to be in this business, but you know, they probably won't make it. So,
which is in every
Yeah.
other industry.
Every
I mean, there's
industry,
only
yeah.
one Angelina Jolie, or there's only one Pablo Picasso, or one Richard Abbott. Like, I think it's, for me, if you're passionate enough with what you want to do, and you put all your determination and drive and everything in it, and you give your best, as long as you give your best, then you will reap what you, I mean, what is that? Reap what you sowed.
yeah.
So, but also it's a balance between your talent and what you're willing to do, and how far of determination, perseverance, because it's a lot of steps. It's when he was here, when he first arrived in November, he kept saying that I'm not Jesus and I'm not here to save the world, and it's not because you're represented by Jedru doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to have a cover of Vogue or of whatever other magazine. There's so many steps to get there, and even the most successful ones in the industry now internationally, they've gone through a lot to get where they are. So whether it's the CEO of a company, that CEO went through a lot to get there. So every single job or opportunity or anything in any industry, you have to work hard for it.
Okay. And you two will be, you have been working with highly creative people for the past years. But you're also a businessman and an entrepreneur, and you're a creative individual, but you're also a strategist, you're a marketer. So, is there a struggle in reconciling creativity and business for you?
Well, I think there is a struggle in that for most people, but that's where us as agents come in. We handle the business side for them and help them to strategize and be creative.
Yeah, it's uncommon to have.
That's why it's important to have an agent.
Yeah. It's usually a creative side will partner with a business side. And there are very few, and I'm proud to say that I'm one of them, that I could do both. So but I don't excel one or the other. I feel that I'm creative and I'm also good in business, but some people tend to be more creative and therefore they get a business manager or an agent. Or some people have businesses that need creative people to work with them. So it's a good balance always.
Okay. What are the advantages of having an agent?
Well, I mean, having someone to help you strategize and grow your career long term. I mean, if you're worried about your next booking and trying to get the next booking, you can't really focus on the booking that you're doing right now today. And all the back office stuff, making sure you get paid, you know.
Negotiating terms for you, negotiating working conditions, negotiating your rate. It's one of the most, as a makeup artist, moving here 2 years ago, is one of the most difficult thing to do is negotiating for yourself, because it's your value. Someone tells you how much will you charge for this, and you give a rate, and then you feel bad when they're like, oh, that's so expensive, you should make it this way or this way. And then sometimes you feel bad, or either you give in and then you don't really value your work, or you don't, then you feel bad you didn't have a client. But then that part of negotiations is now done by an agent for you that has your best interest, short term and long term. So if it's might not be the rate you wanted, but it could grow into, okay, you're gonna have shoots every week, then there's strategic things that we'll do for you that maybe as an artist, since you're also busy with creative work, you don't have time to think about those things.
And that being said, I'm sure there are a number of artists out there just freelance and they're just perfectly happy with what they've got and they don't want to go further. And for them, an agent doesn't make sense.
You have a lot of offices so far. You have LA, you have New York, you have Tokyo.
Paris, London, New York, LA, Tokyo, and now Manila.
So how do you streamline and organize and also synergize your company's collective efforts in order to really achieve your level of success? How do you make it Jed root in every single country?
That's a struggle. It just requires my constant attention. And again, like I said before, I've got a fantastic group of employees working on it with me who are dedicated and passionate about this business. And, I just try to create a very collaborative environment between all my employees and all the different offices.
I want to say, though, that I've been in the New York and LA office, and Jed has built a well-oiled machine that he has employees that's been there 24 years, 22 years, 18 years. They've been with him super long time, which speaks.
And the company's only 25 years.
Right, and the company's been there for 25 years. So it speaks so highly about how Jed has managed his people and has grown them. And now it is what it is, all across different cities in the world. And here he is now opening in Manila and soon opening in Mexico.
Mexico City next.
Okay. So what's it like? Because you have somebody who heads your office in every country. Is that how it works?
In each country, there's sort of a business manager, HR and business manager, but within that person handles the business side of things. Then there may be someone who's in charge of the photography department. But on a creative and strategic level, they don't really answer to the business side person. They answer to me.
Okay.
Same thing on the hair and makeup side and everything. I guess it's kind of a unique structure that's just grown organically, and it's not something I ever put down in a flow chart or anything like that.
But how did you two get together and were like, yeah, you know what, we're going to put up a Manila business. You know what, you have to do this and this and this.
Go ahead.
So we've known each other for a while. I used to live in LA, and one of our partners also used to work with him in the 90s. And early last year, we were with my partners here locally. We were thinking about how do we help the creative industry in Manila, and we appreciate it so much that there's so much creative talent, and whether they just graduated from fine arts or they're freelancers, they're young kids, and we had this meeting with my partners, and we were thinking that how do we help them? How do we help the business side of it? And since we've worked with Jed before and I've known him from before, and also our other partner, we presented to him and gave him, we presented this opportunity that since Asia really is a growing market and it is the biggest market, whether it's by population or just a really growing market. And he's not present here. He is in Tokyo, but it's more of Northern Asia and it's more photography. So we presented this idea of having an office representing all these talents. And when we first started going back and forth, I think one of the criteria was that there should be talent. So he needed to come here to see the talent. And if there was talent, then it's a go. Or like, okay, then it makes sense. And he was pleasantly surprised in November that a place somewhere in Southeast Asia, not really known for creative talent, has a lot. So from there, then it snowballed into signing, meeting with all these talents, and him coming back in December to review more talents, and then opening the agency in full on. So it actually snowballed from just talking about it early last year to finding the talents and then moving forward.
So what was the criteria
for the individual talent?
for the individual talents? Let's say I'm a makeup artist. What was it that I had to have to get into that to get into the first roster, those 21 people?
Technical ability, taste, and again, back to the right personality to work in the business.
So you have to like them personally.
I have not to like them personally, but I have to feel like other people are going to like them personally as well. I mean, I do like them all personally, don't get me wrong. But I really feel that other people will like them personally or be able to work with them personally. And it's about, that their aspirations are realistic, you know.
All right.
And then there's actually 5. I pinned it down to 5 because, it's not really the criteria, but I thought when I was reviewing with Jed with all of the portfolios, he was looking for creativity, originality, the quality of the body of work because they were showing their portfolio, and then personality. And then I really feel that Jed's big in intuition.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that there's some times where he can't really explain it. He'll just say, just because.
Yeah.
So
I just feel it.
Okay, but from last question, do you have any advice for anyone who's just starting out in the industry, especially those who have very little experience?
Get some experience. I mean, learn about the business. You know, look at the different types of magazines. If you want to be a makeup artist, there's like, you could be in television, you could be in movies, you could be doing special effects, you could be doing, focus on more wedding kind of stuff. Or you could be in this business. This is just a small part of it. Learn about all those and figure out what interests you the most and what you're the best at. Whether it's going to schools, interning with someone else, same thing for photography. There's landscape, there's architecture, there's, still life, food photography, fashion, beauty, all those kind of things, If, go to school, intern with people, assist people, get out there and get as much experience as you can for your own information as well. So, you figure out what you like and what you want to do and what you feel like you're best at.
Which is basically what you did as well in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's investing in time and experience, and there's a certain in any industry you can be successful, you can make a lot of money winning the lottery, but not everyone would have that. And the rest of the world actually have steps to get there. You work hard, you get promoted. If you're in corporate, you work hard, you get promoted, you start very low, and then you rise to the corporate ladder. And it's the same, I think, in any industry, like the fashion industry and in photography and makeup and in the creative world. It's getting your experience, putting in your experience, putting in the time to do it, being with so many people, collaborating with a lot of people, not being afraid to assist or not being afraid to, like I said, to intern or to participate in collaborations, even just with friends, or if you're in school and you're in fine arts, or you're doing photography, doing your homework and doing even more than that, and finding what you like to do, I believe, and not about I want to be like this guy or I want to copy this guy. It's finding within yourself what you like to do, and because whatever it is that you do like, there's a market for that, and there's an industry for that, and if you grow within that, then I'm sure and taking the steps to be successful, that you'll get there.
All right. So Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've been speaking to top global agents Jed Root and Al Mauricio about the behind-the-scenes industry in the Philippines and Asia. I'm Carol Ramoran. Thank you for joining us.